Sound rolling, cameras rolling, fatherhood documentary.
Yes and no. I found it difficult because you wake up one morning having responsibility for this totally helpless child, and that continues for years. But there's a lot of joy attached to it, and I suspect that the joy overrides any difficulties that you may have. And you know, bless whoever you want to choose, Buddha, Allah, or God. The reality is that He's never caused me any extreme worry. And so I wouldn't say the difficulties were of any consequence.
Yeah, I did. Because I was a player, I was a playboy. I wanted to just be out. I wanted to just carry on with my foolish lifestyle. Didn't want to be getting up at 2 o'clock, then 4 o'clock, then 6 o'clock, every time the baby woke up crying. Wanted the mother to do it, didn't want to do it myself. But somehow, I don't know, I think I'm hardwired to feel compassion. So when somebody else is suffering, it makes me suffer as well. So when I realized that my woman was suffering because of my attitude, I started to fix my attitude. So it was a slow process, but I did fix up. But because I had to fix up rather than just having a natural inclination or having a plan, it was hard for me at first.
Did I? No, don't find fatherhood difficult. Why? Because I've submitted to the concept of fatherhood. I think that the struggle is all internal. I think the struggle sometimes is men trying to hold on to their individuality and not submitting to themselves, or not submitting to the concept of nurturing the next generation. So because I've nurtured, or because I've submitted to the concept of nurturing for the next generation, for me, I find fatherhood very, very simple. There's no bone in me that says, oh, I don't want to do it. I'll do everything for my children. So you could say that I'm worshiping my children. I'm worshiping, I'm representing them. They are my masters, so to speak, and I have no problem with that because they're the next generation. And also, they are a higher version of myself, or I've handed over my baton to my children, so I have to make sure as their coach, as their father figure, I have to do as much as possible, so yeah.
I still find fatherhood difficult. Yes, it's very difficult because you can read books, but a book is an opinion. So therefore, and every child is different. Every child has a different personality. It's like dealing with people on road or whatever. So with children, you don't know what the right way is. And sometimes you do something. My first child, I try a certain route, and you may focus on something too much. I think getting a balance between being cautious for their safety and allowing them freedom for me is a fight, because I want my children to go through. I want them to do the things that I did back in the day, where we had freedom. I'd ride a bike, I'd go and explore. But we're in a different age now, where you can't let your children out. I'm very concerned to let my child out to just go out on the road, because you just don't know if he's going to be taken away, if he's going to get licked down. You just don't know. So I think for me, getting that balance right is difficult.
I think fatherhood is difficult, and I think it takes a lot of active thought and kind of intent to do it well. There's so many skills to it, and it's like so many other things in life, in that it's a balance. As soon as you kind of identify one thing that you need to change, so whether it's your son might be acting up in school and you feel like, oh, I've got to be tough on him for this, there's something else and another aspect of him where why is he acting up in school? Is it because he's not getting on with people in his class, or he's feeling worried, or he's being bullied or something like that? So again, it's just like another one of those things in life where you have to constantly balance and reassess, and you can never be comfortable, because you know that it's difficult, so you have to concentrate and pay attention on it.
At the start, yes, and then afterwards I think it got easier. I think I found fatherhood difficult with my children when they were infants, because I needed to be more patient with them, and I don't think I was. So as they grew up, I think I got better into my fatherhood role. I think I made a number of mistakes when they were infants, because I think it was more so getting them to do things correctly, rather than thinking to myself that they're going to make those mistakes, and they are infants and they are children. So as they grew up, I think I got better as a father.
Have I found it difficult? You know what? No, it can be. So there's things that happen where I'm like, I want to fight his battles. You know what I mean? So could you imagine me going in the playground and wiling up another 5-year-old? It's a bit impractical. So only from that perspective, I find it difficult. You know, if somebody unfears him, or if he doesn't stick up for himself, then I kind of find that a challenge personally. So there may have been times where, you know, I've equipped him with the tools to deal with it, but he chooses to deal with it his way, so his choice. So I'm kind of resolute now, or I can be now, in knowing that if he wanted to defend himself, then they'll be calling me up saying, Mr. Osborne, Akari, there was an incident and, you know, the child's still asleep on the floor somewhere in the playground, but my son chooses not to engage in any sort of physical roughness. Absolute good boy, and yeah, that's it.
No, I would definitely say I don't find fatherhood difficult. I find it easy, actually. It seems, for me, it's natural. It's like water off a duck's back. I'm from a large family, lots of, you know, I've got my own brothers, sister, you know, lots of aunts, lots of uncles, grandparents, you know, great uncles, great aunts, etc. So it's just a natural progression. So difficult is not something I would associate with fatherhood. I'd say it's more, you know, it's full of surprises. You know, that's what I'd say.
No, not in the slightest. I liken fatherhood, or my attitude to fatherhood, as a child, newborn child thrown in a pool. You know, one way or another, that child learns how to survive. And you know, when we had our first child, I was 25 years old, and you know, fresh out of university, and you know, I was on my first job, and we didn't have a home, we were renting, and you know, this is our first ever experience of raising a young child. You know, something that would cry all night, shit all day. You know, we would have to find a way how to ensure that we not only raise this young being, but also as a family, woman, myself, try to create something for us as you know, as a group of people. That was our first child, and the second child were twins. And you know, often people ask me, well, you have twins, how did you cope? I was 29 years old at the time, and the twins, to me, and my wife at the same time, they were no different from our very first child. We were chucked back in the water again, and we had to find a way to survive. You know, if you're feeding, what I used to do with the twins is when it came to feeding them and I was on my own, if my wife had gone out, I would make the bottles, and I'd put each child on each arm. I'd put a pillow under each of their mouths and put the bottle to you know, to feed each of them, and they would somehow find where the bottle is, hold it, and feed themselves. It was perfect, you know. And so I guess, you know, what I'm basically saying is that you find a way. We all find a way. What I did is find a way. It was easy.